Welcome to Reddit Confessions.
She thought no one would notice she was sleeping with my identical twin, until our daughter exposed everything with a crayon drawing of his dragon tattoo. I always thought it would be a phone call, or maybe a whisper from a friend, a drunk confession, a message accidentally sent to the wrong person. But no, it started with a drawing. A crayon picture from my 6-year-old daughter. Stick figures in a bed. Mommy, Daddy, and a big red dragon curling across his back. Only, I don't have a tattoo. But my twin brother does. My name is Miles Carter. I'm 39, corporate lawyer in DC. Type A since birth. My shirts are pressed, my inbox is zeroed, and my life has been designed, carefully, precisely, to avoid chaos. Kendra, my wife, is the opposite. 37, a personal trainer with 100,000 Instagram followers and a daily green smoothie habit. She chases energy, not order. Has a thing for risk. Jokes that I'm her anchor, but she treats anchors like something to cut loose from. To the world, she's a health goddess. To me, she's been cold lately. Distracted, whispering on her phone when she thinks I'm asleep. Quick to anger, then quick to forgive, like she wants to keep me confused. And then there's Max, my identical twin. Same face, same voice, same damn bone structure. But where I went to Georgetown and built a career, Max bounced from job to job, burned through money, women, trust. He's charming in the way that makes people ignore the damage. I've spent my entire life cleaning up after him, but I never thought I'd be cleaning up this. It was a Friday afternoon when Lily's teacher pulled me aside. Nothing serious, she said too softly. Just something you might want to see. She handed me the drawing. At first, I smiled. Lily always draws us. She's big on hearts and rainbows. But then I looked closer. Mommy and Daddy were in bed, hugging. Mommy had long curly hair. Daddy had a dragon tattoo on his back. A big red one, just like the one Max got in Bali when we were 25. I stared at it, pulse spiking. She said she saw you and Mommy cuddling this weekend. The teacher said. In the morning. Just thought you should know. My stomach dropped. I don't have a tattoo, I said. Quiet. Mechanical. The teacher blinked. Oh. I folded the paper and walked out of that classroom in a daze. The hallway lights were too bright. The air too warm. I couldn't breathe right. Back at our beach house, our perfect summer getaway, I found Kendra in the kitchen, barefoot, humming along to some indie playlist while slicing strawberries like nothing was wrong. Hey, she said. Lily do okay today? I pulled the drawing from my back pocket and slid it across the counter. She drew us. From the weekend. Kendra glanced at it. Froze. Then smiled. Oh, right. The morning we were play fighting in bed. Remember? She walked in and started giggling. She gave me a tattoo, I said. Kendra laughed, but it was delayed. Too smooth. Too rehearsed. She probably saw one on TV. Or maybe Max around the pool. You know she mixes things up. Yeah, I said. Maybe. But something cracked inside me then. Because Lily doesn't mix things up. She draws exactly what she sees. That night, after Kendra fell asleep, I went into our bathroom. Our private and suite. No guests. No shared access. And behind the mirror, tucked into the side drawer we never use. A second toothbrush. Black. Worn. The exact brand Max uses. We were just roughhousing. That's what she said. Like I was stupid. Like our daughter couldn't tell the difference. The thing about finding a second toothbrush isn't the toothbrush itself. It's everything it confirms. All the late nights. The weird silences. The shift in her eyes when she looked at me like she was trying to remember who I was supposed to be. And now I had a drawing. A dragon tattoo. A black toothbrush in our private bathroom. I couldn't sleep. Kendra curled beside me in our oversized bed, breathing softly, peacefully, like she wasn't cheating with a man who shares my face. I watched the ceiling fan spin and tried to pretend I didn't know what I knew. The next morning, I waited until Lily was occupied with her cartoons and strawberry waffles before I confronted her. Not Lily. Kendra. She came downstairs in that same black tank top she always wore when she wanted to look effortlessly sexy. Hair up. That glow she got after yoga. But I wasn't looking at her face. I was watching for guilt. I held up the toothbrush. This isn't mine, I said. Kendra blinked. Then laughed. Seriously? That's what you're coming at me with. Who does it belong to? She grabbed her mug from the counter. Cool as ever. Maybe it's old. Maybe it's from last year when your brother visited. Are we really doing this, Miles? It's in our bathroom. Hidden. And Max hasn't stayed here since last fall. Kendra shrugged. Then I don't know. Maybe Lily grabbed one from the guest basket. Why are you acting so paranoid? I'm not acting, I said. I'm thinking. And that scared her more than yelling ever would. She set the mug down too hard. Look, if this is about that stupid drawing, Lily probably saw Max shirtless at the pool. She's 6. Her brain connects dots that aren't there. She said it was from the morning. She said Mommy and Daddy were cuddling. But the man had a tattoo. We were just roughhousing, Kendra snapped. Jesus, Miles. You're really going to interrogate me because a kid drew something weird? That's when it hit me. She was mad at me. Not scared. Not sorry. Just annoyed that I was making things difficult. You expect me to believe Lily invented a tattoo that matches Max's exactly? Same spot. Same color? Kendra's eyes flashed. I expect you to stop acting like she's a witness in a murder trial. She's a kid, Miles. Exactly, I said. She's not lying. She doesn't even know how to lie like that. Kendra turned her back to me, started rinsing her mug with unnecessary force. I can't believe you're turning a child's drawing into a conspiracy theory. Do you even hear yourself? That's when I saw her hands shaking. Tiny, barely visible. But there. I took a step forward. Is something going on with you and Max? She didn't answer, just kept scrubbing a mug that was already clean. Kendra. She turned slowly, smiled. The kind of smile people use when they're choosing not to answer the real question. I think you're working too much, she said. You're stressed. And when you're stressed, you spiral. You always have. She walked past me, kissed my cheek like we hadn't just crossed a line. I'm going for a run, she said. Try not to lose your mind while I'm gone. I watched her jog down the beach path, ponytail bouncing. And that's when it started. The watching. That night, after she fell asleep, I checked her phone. She always used Face ID, but I knew her passcode from when Lily used to steal it for YouTube. Nothing obvious. No texts from Max. No photos. But she'd deleted a lot. Too much. So I opened her fitness app, the one that tracked every run, every yoga class, every heartbeat. And there it was. 2 entries. One labeled morning yoga. The other, afternoon session, Max's room. She'd logged it as a workout. I stared at it, my skin crawling. Max's room. My twin brother had a room in our house for guests, but it hadn't been used in months. Or so I thought. We just wanted to spice things up. That's what I heard her say, through the wall, laughing in his room. You ever hear your wife laugh in a way you haven't heard in years? Like she's 25 again, drunk on possibility, every syllable coated in desire? It doesn't sound like betrayal at first. Not exactly. But it does sound like you've already been replaced. It was a Tuesday afternoon. Quiet. Lily was napping after a long morning of sandcastles and sunscreen battles. I told Kendra I was taking a conference call upstairs. She didn't ask questions. Neither did I. But I didn't make any calls. I sat in our bedroom, door cracked, ears open, because something in my gut was screaming that I wasn't crazy. That her lies had texture now. Wait. Echo. Max was supposed to be out on the boat with a friend, but I'd seen his shoes by the back door. His cologne in the downstairs bathroom. He was here, and so was she, in his room. I heard footsteps, then the creak of that specific bed frame, the one we kept saying we'd replace. Then laughter, her voice. Kendra, soft at first, then louder, more playful. Then Max, low and smug. You really think he can't tell? She giggled. He won't. He doesn't see anything he doesn't want to. Another pause. The sound of a zipper. A gasp. I mean, Max said, technically it's not cheating if we're just pretending, right? She moaned. God, she moaned, and said, maybe I like your version of Miles better. I pressed my hand against the wall. Not to hear better. To keep myself from punching through it. Back when we were kids, people always mixed us up. Miles and Max, Max and Miles. He loved it. Played pranks. Switched classes. Kissed girls pretending to be me. Me? I hated it. I didn't want to share a face with a liar. But now he was using it to fuck my wife. And she was letting him. That night, I didn't say a word. Not when she came to bed still damp from the shower. Not when she curled up beside me like nothing was wrong. Not even when she kissed my shoulder and whispered, "You've been distant lately." I said, just tired. But inside, I was wide awake. And planning. The next morning, I started doing what lawyers do best. Building a case. I ordered a small voice recorder off Amazon. Discreet. High quality. 10 hours of storage. Then I waited. 2 days later, She packed her yoga bag like always. Water bottle, mat, towel, that stupid green juice. And I slipped the recorder into the side pocket. Didn't say a word. Just kissed her on the cheek and said, "Enjoy your session." She winked. Always do. That night, after she fell asleep, back turned, breathing steady, I retrieved the bag, slipped out the recorder, pressed play. Her voice came through first, clearer than I expected. Breathless, laughing. "You're bad," she whispered. "Max, you like bad." Then bed springs. Skin on skin. Whispers becoming moans. And then, "Kendra," in a voice I didn't recognize. I close my eyes and picture his face. "But it's your name," I want to scream. Max laughed. "You're a real actress, huh?" And Kendra, "No. I'm just tired of pretending with him." More movement. Then Max again. "Happy birthday to me. You're lucky I keep her interested." That's what he said to me, grinning like he hadn't just set fire to my entire life. The next morning, I found Max on the deck, barefoot, shirtless, sipping my damn espresso like he owned the view. The ocean behind him was glowing gold. Picture perfect. Except I couldn't see it anymore. Not after what I'd heard. Not after knowing exactly what he did to my wife. In my bed, while my daughter slept down the hall. "Morning," he said casually. "Coffee's strong today. You finally figured out how to grind it, right?" I stood there in the doorway for a second, hands shaking in my pockets. "You slept with her," I said. He didn't even blink. "Who? Don't do that." He gave a soft chuckle. "Miles. Come on." I stepped forward. "How long has it been going on?" He looked at me over the rim of his mug. Shrugged. "I don't keep a calendar." That was it. No apology. No denial. Just that smug, Max Carter shrug. "You used to joke about switching places," I said. "I thought it was a stupid party trick. A twin thing." "It was," he said. "Until she made it real." I blinked. "She came to you?" "Oh, don't play shocked. Kendra likes danger. Always has. You're the safety net. I'm the fire escape." "You're the mistake," I snapped. But he just smiled wider. "She moans your name when I'm inside her, you know? Kinda poetic." I nearly hit him. But I didn't. Because something better hit me first. You want to know what cold revenge feels like? It starts in the spine. Quiet. Focused. Clinical. That moment when rage doesn't explode, it freezes. I walked away. Didn't say another word. Because if I stayed, I'd hit him. And if I hit him, I'd lose everything. That night, I waited until they were both asleep. Kendra in our bed, Max wherever he ended up, and pulled the yoga bag back out. Replaced the recorder with a second one. Smaller. Hidden in a side seam. Battery life, 12 hours. Memory, infinite. Then I did one more thing. I opened a new folder on my computer. Titled it Evidence. The next day, I acted normal. I packed Lily's lunch. Drove her to art camp. Answered work emails like my world wasn't being ripped apart one moan at a time. And when I came home early, I heard them again. In the kitchen. Laughing. Not whispering this time. Not sneaking. "Max, do you think he knows?" "Kendra. If he does, he's too scared to say anything." "Max. I mean, if you can't tell us apart, how the hell is he supposed to?" "Kendra. It's not about the face. It's the feeling. You make me feel alive. He just makes me feel beige." "Max, we should start charging him rent for that bed." Kendra laughed. Loud. Real. And then said the words that made my blood run cold. "We just wanted to spice things up. Isn't that what marriage is about?" I close my eyes and picture his face. "But it's your name I'm writing." I listened to it in my car. Parked 3 blocks from the beach house. Engine off. Sweat running down my neck despite the ocean breeze. The full recording. 10 hours of betrayal, giggling, dirty jokes, and twisted confessions. But it was this part, this one line, that snapped something inside me. I close my eyes and picture his face. "But it's your name I'm writing." Her voice. Kendra. Breathy. Lusty. Proud of it. And she wasn't talking to me. She was talking about me. While she was screwing my brother. Wearing my shirt. In my house. Every sentence on that recording was a dagger. But that one cut through bone. I hit pause. Sat there. Watching people walk their dogs, jog past with headphones, living lives that hadn't just been gutted open by a voice memo. I should have confronted her. Should have burst into that house, thrown the phone on the kitchen table, made her listen to her own moans on speaker. But that's not what I did. Because something else had been building inside me, stronger than rage. Strategy. That night, I started planning the cake. Not just any cake. A custom, Two-tier red velvet from the bakery Kendra loved. Elegant. Photogenic. Instagram-worthy. I gave them the inscription over the phone. 2 lines, I said. On top, thanks for keeping it in the family. Bottom tier, happy birthday, Max. The baker didn't question it. She just laughed and said, damn, someone's in trouble. She had no idea. I went home like nothing was wrong. Like I hadn't just ordered the dessert version of a nuclear bomb. Kendra was in the living room doing stretches. Yoga mat out. Hair damp. Max was upstairs, supposedly showering off a run. I sat down next to Lily, who was coloring on the floor. She looked up, smiled, and said, Daddy, can we have cake on Max's birthday? I smiled back. Oh, sweetheart. We'll definitely have cake. Later that night, while Kendra was in the shower, her phone lit up on the nightstand. A new message. From M. I didn't even have to unlock it. The preview said everything. Let's do it in his bed tonight. He's dead inside. Probably won't even notice. Let's do it in his bed tonight. That's the text she sent to my twin while sitting 5 feet from me. She didn't even flinch. That's the part that haunts me. Kendra sat on the edge of the couch that night, legs curled under her, sipping tea like a woman who wasn't texting my brother about having sex in my bed. She even offered me a sip. Want some? She said. Chamomile. I looked at her hands. Her lips. Her skin still damp from the shower she'd taken to cleanse herself of him. No thanks, I said. And she smiled. Like everything was fine. Like she wasn't about to crawl under my sheets and call it foreplay. By now, I had a plan. A date. A guest list. Max's birthday was coming up. Kendra was already planning something small. Just family, maybe a few friends. Something low-key and intimate, she said. Perfect. I told her I'd take care of the cake. What kind do you think he'll like? She asked, flipping through Pinterest. I've got something in mind, I said. Something unforgettable. The bakery called to confirm the order. Just to be clear, the woman said. The cake says thanks for keeping it in the family on top and happy birthday. Max on the bottom? Exactly, I said. And make sure the writing is clear. Black lettering. Bold. I wanted to stand out. She laughed nervously. You got it, sir. After that, I started cleaning the house more than usual. Kendra thought I was nesting. Playing the good husband again. You're turning into a housewife, she joked one morning, walking by in a robe that wasn't even tied. I like things tidy, I said. What I didn't say? I was hiding cameras. 3 of them. One in the corner of our bedroom, disguised in the smoke detector. One in the hallway light fixture. And one, small, magnetic, barely visible, beneath the dresser in Max's guest room. I tested the angles, synced the feeds, made sure everything backed up to a drive hidden in my office safe. If they wanted to perform, they'd get an audience. On the morning of Max's birthday, I made sure everything was perfect. I told Kendra I had to drive up to DC for an emergency client meeting. Some contract crisis that couldn't wait. She didn't even fake concern. Don't get stuck in traffic, she said, tossing me my keys. Wish Max happy birthday for me? I added. She smiled. I already have. I drove 5 minutes. Parked. Opened my laptop. Logged in. And waited. The footage started slow. Boring, even. She came into the bedroom around 9 p.m. Wearing my shirt. The navy blue one she always said made me look too uptight. Max walked in 10 minutes later. Wearing my cologne. I could almost smell it through the screen. He said something I couldn't hear. She laughed. Climbed on the bed. Then, Kendra, this bed smells like betrayal. Max, then it smells like home. This bed smells like betrayal. That's what she said, while moaning in the sheets we bought together. I watched it live. From the front seat of my car. Parked less than 2 miles from the house I paid for, the mattress I picked out, the life I built. She wore my shirt. He wore my scent. They had no idea I was watching. No idea they were starring in the final scene of their own undoing. The camera caught everything. Max walking into the bedroom like he belonged there. Tossing his shirt aside. Kendra already waiting, curled up in the same sheets we'd folded together on laundry day. You smell like him, she said, pulling him closer. You taste better, he said. She laughed. And then they did what they do. Right there in my bed. Like animals. Like narcissists. Like it was a performance, and they couldn't wait for applause. Only this time, there was an audience. Me. And soon, everyone who mattered. The next morning, I came home like nothing happened. Kendra was in the kitchen making smoothies, humming something upbeat, like she hadn't been moaning under my brother 8 hours earlier. Hey, she said, without looking up. How was the drive? Exhausting, I said, but productive. She walked over, kissed my cheek like a wife should. I let her, because that was the last kiss she'd ever give me. I spent the next 2 days collecting final pieces. I edited the footage down to a 6-minute highlight reel. Just enough to tell the story. No gore. No nudity. Just voices. Glances. Quotes. He doesn't even notice anymore. This bed smells like betrayal. Which one? I layered in the audio from the yoga bag recording. Clean. Crisp. Heartbreaking. I close my eyes and picture his face. But it's your name I'm writing. At the end of the video, I added a photo. Lily's drawing. The one that started everything. Then the last line appeared on screen. Sometimes, children see the truth before anyone else does. Then I started making calls. Hey mom, just a heads up, we're throwing a small party for Max's birthday. You and Dad should come. Kendra's putting it together. She wants it to be a surprise. Yeah, everyone's invited. Close friends. Family. It'll be a big reveal. And then I texted Max. Party's at 6. Dress nice. Big crowd. You're the star. The day of the party, the house looked perfect. Balloons. Streamers. Kendra in a sundress, acting like the Pinterest queen of wholesome family fun. Max showed up wearing a blazer and sunglasses, grinning like a celebrity. Surprise party, huh? He said, slapping my back. You'll never forget it, I said. He laughed. You're a good brother, Miles. People gathered. The cake was delivered. Lily wore a sparkly dress and twirled around the living room, proud of the balloons she picked. Daddy, she whispered, tugging on my arm. Are we going to sing for Uncle Max? Oh, I said, crouching to her level. We're going to do a lot more than that. Thanks for keeping it in the family. That's what the cake said. And for the first time, they both looked guilty at the same time. The room froze. 20 people in various stages of smiling, drinking, laughing, just suddenly stopped. Kendra stood by the kitchen island, frozen mid-toast. Max, my identical twin, the birthday boy, the one who thought he'd won, was pale. His smirk drained from his face like someone unplugged him. And the cake? 2 tiers of pure, custom-made humiliation. Thanks for keeping it in the family. Happy birthday, Max. Black icing. Sharp letters. No mistaking the message. It landed like a gunshot. My mom gasped. My father dropped his drink. A cousin covered her mouth like she'd just witnessed a car crash. Because they had. Kendra blinked first. What is this? She asked, too loud, too fast. I placed the cake on the table, adjusted it like a centerpiece. Max took a step back. This some kind of joke? He asked, forcing a laugh. Miles, come on, man. What are you doing? I looked at him, then at her, then at the crowd. And I said, I just thought everyone should know how close this family's gotten lately. Kendra's face tightened. Miles, not here. Please. Oh, but here is perfect, I said. This house, this room, this bedroom set. You two seem to like using it so much. A murmur swept the room. The kind that says people know something's coming, but they don't know how bad it's about to get. Kendra stepped toward me. We can talk about this, just us. Max muttered, Jesus Christ. And that's when Lily walked in, holding a folded piece of paper. Daddy, she said softly, is the cake about my picture? Silence dropped like a curtain. Kendra's entire body went rigid. Max looked like he'd just seen a ghost. I crouched to Lily's level and held out my hand. She gave me the drawing. The same one the teacher had given me weeks ago. Crayon colors. Stick figures. Mommy. Daddy. And the dragon tattoo on Daddy's back. I turned to the crowd. This, I said, holding it up, is what our daughter drew. A moment from home. Gasps. A few sharp inhales. She thought she saw her parents hugging. I continued. Only, the man had a tattoo. A very specific one. I looked at Max, at the red dragon curling up his left shoulder. She didn't get it wrong, I said. She just saw something she wasn't supposed to. Kendra whispered, Miles, stop. But I wasn't done. I walked to the TV, pulled the remote from the drawer, and hit play. The audio filled the room. Her voice. Moaning. Whispering. I close my eyes and picture his face. But it's your name I'm writing. Gasps. A glass shattered. Happy birthday to me, Max's voice said, cocky and clear. Kendra lunged forward. Miles, turn it OFF. But I held the remote up and stepped away. He doesn't even notice anymore. Let's do it in his bed tonight. This bed smells like betrayal. Don't forget Max's birthday, I told our parents. There's going to be a huge surprise. The fallout wasn't quiet. The room detonated. People started moving, half of them leaving, half of them staying, too stunned to breathe. Kendra begged me to stop. Max tried to play it off, like it was a prank gone too far. But the damage was already done. The recording, the cake, the drawing. It was all real. There was no coming back. My father pulled me aside first. What the hell is going on? I looked him in the eye. Your son has been sleeping with my wife. His jaw clenched. His eyes darted between me and Max. Jesus Christ, he whispered. Then he turned to Max. You did this? To your brother? Max tried to speak. Couldn't. And my father, retired Army colonel, never emotional, slapped him. Right there in front of the cake. My mom cried. Not the kind of cry you hear at weddings or funerals. It was deeper than that. Like something was breaking inside her that she didn't even know could break. Kendra tried to hug her. She pulled away. You were supposed to be our daughter. Kendra sobbed, mascara dripping, but no one reached for her. Not this time. After everyone cleared out, after the house emptied and silence finally took over, I cleaned up the dishes like it was a normal night. Max tried to talk. I ignored him. Kendra locked herself in the bathroom. Lily slept like an angel. And I got to work. I uploaded the video. Not to YouTube. Not yet. But to a private link. High definition. Password protected. Time-stamped. Then I made a list. My parents' white heavy check mark. Kendra's parents' white heavy check mark. Close friends' white heavy check mark. Colleagues' white heavy check mark. Lily's teacher, white heavy check mark. Max's ex-girlfriends, optional, but emotionally satisfying, white heavy check mark. They all got an email. Subject line, the truth. Body. Since so many of you were part of our story, you deserve to know how it ends. Link below. No explanation. No apology. Just facts. Let them draw their own conclusions. The next morning, Kendra looked like a corpse in yoga gear. Eyes puffy. Lips trembling. She reached for my arm in the kitchen. Miles, please. We can fix this. I looked at her like she was a stranger. You had sex with my twin brother. In my bed. While my daughter was down the hall. And you laughed about it. She started crying. Again. You weren't paying attention to me. I was paying for everything. You're cold. You don't touch me anymore. You let my brother touch you enough for both of us. She dropped to her knees. I don't want to lose this family. You lost it, I said, stepping around her. The second you turned it into a game. Later that afternoon, she posted a photo. Old picture. Her and Max, though she labeled it Miles Red Heart, kissing her cheek. Caption, grateful for my ride or die. Always knew you had my back. It was supposed to be damage control. A fake post to make it all look harmless. Harmless twin stuff. A joke. A trick of the camera. But the internet is faster than guilt. Within an hour, 3 people commented. Isn't that Max? You sure that's your husband? Interesting. Looks like a dragon tattoo. I brought wine, Kendra said. Figured we'd celebrate Max. And I thought, you're about to wish you brought a lawyer. The guests arrived early. They always do when they smell drama. Even if they don't know what they're walking into. Even if they think they're coming for cake, champagne, and a casual family gathering to celebrate my charming, underachieving twin. The backyard looked perfect. Sunsets slicing through the clouds. Champagne flutes arranged just so. Balloons tied around the patio railing, swaying like they didn't know they were about to witness a murder. Social. Friendly. Lethal. Max showed up late. Of course he did. That cocky grin hit his face the moment he saw the crowd. Damn, he said, slicking back his hair. Didn't know I was this loved. He slapped my back like we were still 17 and stealing cigarettes behind our high school gym. You do this, he asked. I smiled. You have no idea. Kendra played the perfect wife. Summer dress. Loose curls. Too much blush. She floated through the yard with a wine glass and a tight smile, kissing cheeks, laughing too loud. When our mother arrived, eyes still swollen from the last disaster, Kendra actually hugged her like nothing had happened. My mother didn't hug back. Small mercies. The weird thing? No one mentioned the video. Not at first. But I saw it in their eyes. The cousins who couldn't make eye contact. The uncle who clutched his drink like it was a shield. My best friend Jordan, standing by the grill with a look that said, Are we really doing this? We were. Oh, we were. Max kept working the crowd. Cracking jokes. Kissing babies. Slipping between conversations like a politician working for forgiveness he hadn't even asked for. He found me near the porch. Look, man, he said, tone all faux sincerity. About the other night, Kendra told me you were dealing with some stuff. You really made it personal. I stared at him. He stared back. Let's not blow this up, he added. People are watching. I smiled. They should be. And then, at exactly 6:59 p.m., I walked inside. Came back out holding a white cardboard box. Set it gently on the table. Cutlery clinked. Conversation slowed. Everyone turned. Max raised his brows. You got me a cake? Oh, I said. I got you so much more. I opened the box. Gasps. Silence. Then laughter. Sharp, shocked, painful. Top tier. Thanks for keeping it in the family. Bottom. Happy birthday. Max written in black icing. Bold. Clear. No mercy. Max's face drained in real time. Kendra dropped her wine glass. It shattered. She opened her mouth. Closed it. Nothing came out. Someone whispered, "What the hell?" Someone else muttered, "Is this about the video?" And then, Lily, still in her sparkly dress, clutching her little notebook of drawings. She stepped forward, looked at the cake, then up at me, then said, loud enough for the entire backyard to hear, "Is that about my picture? I hope you both choke on this." That's what I said, right before I pressed play. The cake sat untouched, frosting bleeding under the sun. Words still sharp. Thanks for keeping it in the family. Happy birthday. Max. Kendra looked like she might pass out. Max tried to speak, but all he could manage was a dry chuckle. Okay, he said too loud. So we're doing this. I looked at him, then at Kendra. Then I said it. I hope you both choke on this. And pressed play. The Bluetooth speaker crackled. Then her voice filled the backyard. I close my eyes and picture his face. But it's your name I'm writing. Half the guests gasped. Some turned away. One cousin dropped her drink. Kendra bolted up from her chair. Miles, stop it. You like bad. Max's voice said next. You make me feel alive. He just makes me feel beige. It kept going. Their moans. Their jokes. Their dirty little role play, broadcast like a podcast from hell. Kendra tried to rip the speaker out of the wall. I beat her to it. Held it high like a trophy. This bed smells like betrayal. Happy birthday to me. My father sat down. Hard. My mother whispered, please no more. But it wasn't for them anymore. It was for me. And for Lily. Because children deserve to know what truth sounds like. Even when it's ugly. Especially when it's ugly. Kendra was sobbing now. Real tears. Smeared mascara. Her perfect social media face melting under the weight of exposure. Miles, she begged. Please. Not in front of Lily. I looked down. Lily wasn't crying. She was staring at Max confused. Hurt. Quiet. And that's when it hit me. She didn't just draw a picture. She drew a secret that made the adults crumble. She'd known. Not in words. But in feelings. And kids are smarter than we give them credit for. Max tried to regain control. Okay. Look, this is private. You had no right. I stepped forward. Private? You think this is private? You fucked your brother's wife. In his house. On his sheets. While his daughter slept 20 feet away. Max's jaw clenched. It was a mistake. No, I said. A mistake is one time. What you did was a campaign. Then Kendra stood up. Fine, she screamed. You want honesty? Yes, we did it. Yes, it happened. But maybe if you'd paid attention, if you hadn't been so cold, so boring, maybe I wouldn't have needed him. My mother fainted. Literally. Collapsed. Guests rushed in to catch her. Someone called 911. Max stepped forward to help. I shoved him back. Touch her, and I swear to God. You played me like a fool. Now I'm pressing play on your whole life. The house emptied fast. No more clinking glasses. No soft jazz in the background. No filtered sunlight making everything look perfect. Just silence. And wreckage. The party was over, and all that remained were the liars, the betrayed, and the mess they made. Kendra sat at the edge of the couch, face red, hands trembling. Max paced like a caged dog, still trying to figure out if this was salvageable. It wasn't. Because I hadn't even dropped the full hammer yet. I came back into the room with a manila envelope. Dropped it on the coffee table in front of her. What's this? She asked, voice cracking. Divorce, I said flatly. And custody. Kendra flinched like I'd slapped her. You're not serious. I didn't blink. Dead serious. She reached for it. Max tried to speak. Look, man. No, I cut him off. You don't get to speak. You're not a man. You're a parasite wearing my face. He looked at the ground. For the first time in his life, Max had nothing to say. Kendra flipped through the pages. Tears welled up again. But they were hollow now. Tired. Manipulative. You can't do this, she whispered. I turned toward the hallway. Lily. She peeked her head around the corner, clutching her stuffed unicorn, eyes wide. Come here, sweetheart. She ran over, climbed into my lap without hesitation. And right then, I saw it in Kendra's eyes. The moment she realized she'd lost her daughter, too. You don't have proof I'm an unfit mother, she spat. I opened a folder on my laptop, pulled up the footage. 6 minutes. Just like before. But this time, I played it for her. Alone. Face to face. Max left the room, finally understanding he was no longer the center of anything. And Kendra? She watched the whole thing. The audio, the video, the drawing. Her eyes never left the screen. When it ended, she didn't cry, didn't scream. She just said quietly, I didn't think you'd ever find out. I stood. I didn't think you'd ever stoop this low. She tried to grab my hand. You were the love of my life, Miles. No, I said. I was the mirror you needed to feel better about your chaos. Max was the high. I was the rehab. You still love me, she whispered. I used to, I said. But the man who loved you died the moment I heard you moan my name while riding someone else. You made your choice, Kendra. Now I'm making mine. She didn't say a word when I handed her the suitcase. Just stood there in the foyer, barefoot, cheeks flushed with whatever cocktail of shame and fury she was trying to swallow. You have until tomorrow to pick up your things, I said. Miles, she whispered, please. No, I cut her off. No more begging. No more tears. No more lying. You wanted him. You got him. Lily sat in the living room with headphones on, watching cartoons like her world hadn't just split in two. But even through the soft hum of animated voices, I could see her watching us. Kendra glanced back at her. You're going to tell her I'm the villain. I don't have to, I said. You told her with every choice you made. She reached out for my arm. I stepped back. You made your choice, Kendra, I said quietly. Now I'm making mine. Then I opened the front door. She stood there for a long second, like she wanted to say something that might undo it all. But there's no apology big enough to cover what she did. She walked out. I shut the door behind her and locked it. Later that night, after Lily was asleep, I poured a drink and sat in the office. Opened the envelope Kendra hadn't finished reading. Inside were the custody papers. Emergency filing. Full parental control to me, citing emotional instability, infidelity, and exposure of a minor to repeated marital distress. My lawyer didn't pull punches. Neither would I. That's when I heard the knock. I expected it to be Kendra, but it wasn't. It was Mac's hands in his pockets. Head low, like he thought that made him humble. Can we talk? He asked. I didn't answer, just stared at him. He shifted, unsure. I didn't mean for this to go that far. I raised my glass. You went inside my wife, Max. That's about as far as it gets. I know. He looked up, and that's when I saw it. Not guilt, not shame, but bitterness. I wasn't supposed to lose, he said. I blinked. Excuse me. Max stepped forward. You were always the golden boy, the lawyer, the clean one, the favorite. I thought. He paused, shook his head. I thought if I could take something that was yours, finally, I'd matter. And Kendra? I asked. She was just a pawn? He smiled, just a flicker. She was never yours, Miles. You just borrowed her until she woke up. You weren't supposed to win. I was. That's what he said, standing in the ruins of my marriage, thinking he was still holding a match. Max laughed when I held up the recorder. That same cocky, careless laugh he's used since we were kids, when he crashed my bike, stole my homework, kissed my girlfriends, and always got away with it. But not this time. Jesus, Miles, he said. You're really out here collecting evidence like it's a court case. It is a court case, I said. You just don't know which one yet. He dropped into the leather chair across from my desk like this was just another of our brotherly debates. You think you won something? He asked. You think turning this into a spectacle makes you the better man? I don't have to win, I said calmly. I just have to make sure you lose. He leaned forward, eyes narrowing. You always had everything, he hissed. The grades, the job, the house, the wife. All I ever got was your leftovers. And now you can have them, I said, voice flat. Every broken piece. Max stood. You act like you didn't notice. She's been pulling away for years. You gave her nothing. No passion. No spontaneity. You were a checklist. And you were a car crash, I said. And for some reason, she wanted to watch it in slow motion. That wiped the smirk off his face. He stepped closer. You want the truth? I didn't fall for her. I targeted her. I raised a brow. You're bragging now? He grinned. I wanted to hurt you. You always made me feel small. So I found the one thing you valued more than your pride, your family. And I took it. I hit the record button mid-sentence. I wanted to hurt you. So I found the one thing you valued. And I took it. He looked down, saw the light blinking. Are you fucking serious? You just admitted to intentional emotional sabotage, I said. On tape, while you were sleeping with a married woman. In a house with a child. My lawyers will have a field day. Max lunged across the desk. I stood fast. He froze. For the first time, he looked scared. You think you can erase me? He growled. No, I said. But I can expose you. I walked to the shelf, pulled out a laptop, loaded a file, pressed play. Not the footage from before. This one had something new. Security cam. Time-stamped. Max entering my bedroom. Kendra already inside. Her pulling off her robe. Him laughing. Overlaid with his voice. I wanted to hurt you. And I took it. Sometimes, revenge is just giving people what they asked for and letting them burn. I sent the email at 6:01 a.m. Subject line, 2 faces, 1 betrayal. Attachment, the final video. The master cut. All of it. Max's voice. I wanted to hurt him, so I took it. Kendra's voice. This bed smells like betrayal. Their faces. Their bodies. Their lies. Spliced clean. Tight. Unflinching. Every scene time-stamped. Every quote subtitled. I didn't blast it to the world. I was smarter than that. I sent it to everyone they cared about. Kendra's gym clients. Her sponsors. Her personal brand collaborators. The ones who paid her to be the face of wellness and loyalty and morning rituals with turmeric and truth. Max's former employers. His college buddies. That podcast host who once said Max was the most emotionally aware man he knew. And our family, of course. The ones who believed in bonds and birthdays and blood being thicker than mistakes. It didn't take long. The silence broke first. Then the buzzing. Text after text after text. Some shocked. Some disgusted. Some quietly thrilled. You'd be amazed how many people wanted to see them fall. People who'd been used. Manipulated. Discarded. I just gave them the permission. Max called me. Didn't answer. Kendra texted. Please stop. I'll do anything. Just stop. I didn't respond. Instead, I called my lawyer. Told her to finalize the custody paperwork. Full parental rights to me. No visitation without court-ordered supervision. She said, this might actually stick. I said it has to. The final nail? I posted Lily's drawing. No names. No faces. Just the crayon sketch of mommy, daddy, and the dragon tattoo. Captioned, children don't lie. They just see what adults try to hide. It went viral within an hour. The comments? Brutal. Supportive. Heartbreaking. Cathartic. A war of empathy and rage. But I didn't care about likes. I cared that it was done. That evening, I made Lily dinner, mac and cheese, strawberries, 2 scoops of ice cream, because I said yes to joy now. We curled up on the couch, watched a cartoon. She leaned against me, warm and safe, and whispered, Mommy's sad. I kissed the top of her head. So are clowns, I said. But we don't invite them back in. She giggled. The first real one in weeks. Later, I stood on the balcony, watching the sun bleed into the ocean. Phone on silent. House quiet. Free. Not clean. Not untouched. But free.